Hello. Okay, I know I'm sorry. Okay, we had things. We had breaks and things were going on. Okay, so we are going to be talking about Facebook ads. Don't close the episode, okay? I know that this is a touchy point for a lot of you because you've either been in a crappy training where like, and this has happened to me. I'll just say I've been in crappy trainings where the ad is like this huge promise, right? And then you go in there and you're like, either it's so simplistic that you don't get enough information and what they're actually trying to sell you is like some other thing, or it's overly complicated and created by someone who has like a PhD in pressing buttons and like you just can't follow along. So if that's been your experience, or you've run ads in the past and they haven't worked. So just hear me out, okay? So as you know, I'm in the trenches with all of you in this visibility issue. And okay, first of all, everyone is having trouble with visibility. I'll say that is universally true. Anyone who's like, I'm not, they're a unicorn human and something happened to them and that's great. I've actually had a lot of visibility, but not necessarily on my session stuff. I had a lot of visibility on a post I made in January that's at like almost 4 million views about just like my general matriarchal views. So that was my worldview and I wanted to center it and have it be known, but like it wasn't directly tied to sessions. And then I have another post that has a ton of views that's about my feelings on photographers trying to bully everyone into going faceless. So I have 2 posts now that do have visibility. So there is visibility available, right? And so if you happen to get a post and it goes viral and it's tied to sessions and you book a ton of sessions from that, then you are obviously not included in this visibility conversation. I will say that having gone viral many times now in my life of various things, oftentimes it brings more headache than it does good. Because often the things that go viral are not like, hey, book these sessions. They're controversial opinions, like mine, or they are something that is super inspiring. So I see photography posts that go viral because in the marketing membership, every single week I send out marketing ideas that include marketing ideas for each of the 6 booking paths that I teach in that membership, as well as 4 trending reels, just in case people want to try them. And so often the trending reels are things that are trending and have a lot of views. So the interesting thing, I guess what I should do is sometime, excuse me, I inhaled a little dust bunny, is reach out to those photographers with those viral reels and be like, hey, have you seen an uptick in booking from these viral posts? Because the other thing too is when I read the comments, it's so many other photographers, because like anything tied to photography, if it goes viral, a lot of times it's other photographers making it viral, sharing it. I heard on another post, I can't remember, or a podcast about social media, and this woman said that she actually checked in with a lot of people who are sharing her post, and she was like, hey, if you're sharing this post, like, what are you sharing it to? I'm just curious, because I don't see it showing up in your stories or anything, so like, what are you sharing it to? And it was people just sharing to their other Instagram account to save the idea for inspiration. So then you have this bloated metric, which is actually just people saving and sharing that idea so they can use it themselves. That doesn't actually bring you good local visibility, right? So like a local viral piece of content could serve you very well. That I feel like is a very rare piece of content. In the past, if you've listened to this podcast, you know that I have said these words. I think every photographer should have a low-cost Facebook ad running at all times. I'm going to amend that statement a little bit and say that every family photographer should have a specific local Facebook ad running at all times, because many of you having done one-on-ones, how the one-on-ones are turning out is that majority of the one-on-ones are people just wanting to set up Facebook ads. And so what I'm trying to decide is like, what I think I want to do, I have a course on Facebook ads. This is a rant. I haven't been on here in a while, so you're just going to have to listen to me rant for a second. I have a course on Facebook ads. It basically, the course came about of me trying to figure out the absolute most simple way to get ads out into the world. So that is what it is. That's what the course, it's not go into the back end of Facebook Ads Manager and create from there. It's like the other systems that I found to make that system more simple, because the overcomplication of the Facebook ads atmosphere is what turns people off in the beginning, because they're like, what the heck do any of these buttons ever mean? So that was my initial reason for doing that course, is because I was like, people are charging so much money for this information that is actually quite simple. And I feel like too, it's funny, there's a lot of people who teach Facebook ads who definitely don't want you to know that it's even more simple than it has ever been, and that they try to convince you that they need to be running your ads for you. I will say with 100% confidence that you do not need anyone to be running your ads for you unless you are extremely profitable and you're just doing it because you don't want to spend 15 minutes doing it. That's kind of maybe my controversial opinion after playing in these waters for the last year. So anyway, then what I realized on the one-on-ones is people can still take the course, but not have the ad going to the proper place, or the copy can be not very generic. People tend to for some reason, when they create an ad, they tend to go like very generic copy that's not catchy or fun or salesy or uses any sort of like psychological trick. I mean, it is a sales post. It's like when you're scrolling on Instagram or Facebook and something catches your eye, oftentimes it's the copy that's written on there. And a lot of times it's crappy copy that's shady. So it's like, I see other photographer educators and they're like, I booked out my entire year with this $3 Facebook ad. And then you get in there and you're like, Susan, no, you didn't. But anyway, it gets you to click because it goes to your core emotion, which is like, I want more bookings. I want to crack this code. I want to figure out what other people know that I don't know that's keeping me from X success, right? That's the whole psychology behind ads and what they make, why it works. I mean, it's well documented. You can major in that in college, like the psychology of, I don't know if you can major in that. You can major in psychology. Here's what you could do if you're going back to college right now. You go to major in psychology and have a minor in marketing. And probably what you're going to learn a lot about is sales psychology. Okay, so I'm just saying it's a well-documented thing about, we know what makes people click onto things. So the reason I'm amending that sentence is because it was too generic of advice for people to follow. That's what I have found, because I'll have someone who will like do a one-on-one with them, and then they're like, I took your advice and I ran this ad, and I go on there and it's like very generic copy, not local, no call to action. It's very, what I'll say, and no shade to anyone running ads like this, but it's very easy to scroll by, right? So I've been playing around with them a lot, and it has been not expensive and very effective. And so there's no reason for me like I could see how if I was like a shady operator, I could be like, I cracked the code and then no, it's just fairly simple. And it doesn't need to be complicated. But I know that for a lot of people, it's not as innate as it is for me, because I'm so invested in marketing and I love testing and trying, and I'm totally fine flopping and failing. My friggin' Facebook ad account got hacked on Friday because I was stupid and I got fooled by this thing that looked super legit from OpenAI, and it was clearly a hack, but it came from their email address, and I double checked it and came in on the link, and it was actually going to open. I mean, it was such a sophisticated hack. But I fell for it because I was going to test. What it was promising was how to test OpenAI ads. And I love to test ads on things. Like I love to test Pinterest ads. I love to test Google ads. I'm always testing ads. So I was like, ooh, I don't know if this is legit. So I did the thing where I go reply, and it populates the email address. And it was an OpenAI email address, but it was just, there was a slight misspelling in the first part of the email address that I didn't catch. So like that sort of thing. So I tried it. Then I went through the back end to the link, copied the link into his browser, tested the security. All of it was good. I still got duped. Okay. So then I told this story in my membership, but basically I woke up on Friday and someone had a $2,500 a day ad spend on my account selling basically a glove that is a taser. So what it looked like from the outside world is that Fiona Marco Photography was, you know, shifting gears from family photography to weapons, just a straight switch. So of course this was alarming, and I got it shut down as fast as I could, not before they completely drained my PayPal account. But anyway, I'm not trying to say that I'm like have everything figured out. I'm out here trying. Like, I feel like I'm a good example of that, if nothing else. I did get it fixed after my you can get to an actual human with Meta. This is one benefit I learned. If you have if you have a Facebook, if you have an ads account, you can actually talk to humans who work at Facebook, which if you don't have an ads account, you barely can talk to them. So anyway, my friend Rowdy, not sure if that's his real name, helped me through it and we got it figured out. But the reason that I'm so happy, like excited, not about selling weapons, but just because I've got back into my ads game. And so I had to redo my ads because that person had taken down all my ads. So I got my ads rerunning. So I have 2 running right now. One is a studio ad for my studio sessions, and the other one is a senior ad. Okay. So like I put the ad up yesterday. 2 hours later, I got a booking for studio sessions from the ad. And then an hour after that, I got another one. And like what I was telling a friend of mine who is probably listening to this podcast, is that it feels that level of like visibility feels like Stories 2018. And if you weren't in the Instagram world in 2018, what it looked like for a lot of photographers, and why I should have been doing marketing coaching then because it was so much easier, is I would basically say, I have an opening at the mountain on this day, and 100% of the time, those would be booked by the end of the day from my stories because my story views were massive. My story views are so sad. It's so random and sad, actually. It's like one day it's super low, even though I'm talking about cool stuff. And then I'll like post like the most random thing. And it's like 2,000 people viewed your stories. I'm like, well, great. Mark Zuckerberg / whatever that other guy's name is. This was just a completely random story, not even about my business. So anyway, this sort of visibility of that is a $3 a day ad, the studio one, is so hyper local, and the copy is local. Everything is local. Everything, the traffic goes to this info page about the studio sessions that's super helpful and says everything that we're going to do. And there's a booking link right there. So I didn't speak to either of these people before they booked. The bookings were there. They came in. I sent them their little thing like, thank you so much for booking. Here's the styling information. Here's the directions. Done. Like, when we think about what we want business to feel like, being in business to feel like, it's that feeling where you're like, okay, I have something to sell. And yes, it's emotional, and yes, it's artistic, and yes, it is me putting myself out there, but I have this thing and I'm super passionate about it and I want you to do it with me, right? And no one does. And it's like so defeating. It is, that happens to me all the time, because if you notice, my Instagram is super active, is constantly testing stuff. And so there'll be things that I'll do and I'll be like, oh, this is going to be the thing that, no, ignored. One person likes it. Like, I've had posts in the year 2026 with almost 14,000 followers that 3 human beings have liked. 3. So I just want you to say, I know that feeling. So Facebook ads, very, very hyper local, very specific, high trust, feel like a little bit of glimmer of getting back to that feeling of marketing working. Because that has been the hardest thing. Everyone is just running around like chickens with their heads cut off, wondering what the heck to do. We see people that we think have answers, and all of the answers or help is like kept behind either super expensive courses or maybe even outdated courses or masterminds or whatever. And I mean, I'm definitely, if someone were to come into my business as like a mentor, they'd be like, you are criminally undercharging, especially for the membership. I know that because I show up once a week live and answer questions. You can post your marketing material in there and I'll look at it for you. Like $35 a month is literally pretty much what it costs to get an oat milk latte these days. Not really, but sometimes it does feel that way. Okay, so basically I just am updating my advice. Every photographer should be running a hyper local, hyper specific with sales driven language ad for what they're offering. If it's seasonal, then you need this runway. I talk about runway. Probably runway is the word I've said the most on this podcast, shockingly. But like, if you're trying to book let's talk about Mother's Day, okay? If you're trying to book Mother's Day sessions, get the ad up right now, like tomorrow, because it needs time to fuss around for a few weeks before it settles in. And obviously that ad that I posted about my studio shoots got results right away, probably because I keep running ads to the same parameters that are just based on location. So like I have it has a lot of information about me, right? If someone's starting from the ground up and they're running an ad, it's going to send it to the silliest individuals in the United States at first. And the amount of people I've talked to who have then been like, oh, the data's broken, I'm stopping it, is so high. So like you have to stick with it, because if you've only ever run an ad for 1 week, you haven't even come close to tapping the potential that is Andromeda, the creepy AI tracking robot. Like we need to let that lady, man, robot arm, what's the word? Simmer. No. Marinate. We need to have it marinate with all the people and show your stuff to a bunch of people. So if you think about that, if like Andromeda the Creeper is showing your ad to a bunch of people and the copy is really good and it's hyper local and it has good imagery and it leads to a good landing page, eventually the correct people are going to start to tune in, and then the robot who has no emotion in the game is just like, okay, these are the people. Right? So if your ad is super generic and it doesn't talk about anything local and it's AI written text that's clearly just like, these moments should be treasured, like there's not enough information for the creep to work. We have to give the creep enough information for it to find the people. So once we do that, it does start to click and it feels really exciting because it's not that expensive. It is expensive though. Like it's not expensive. It's not nothing is what I'll say. And like expense is relative. So like $3 a day is very expensive to a photographer who's only booking 1 session a month and in true panic mode. And it's literally nothing to a photographer booking 10 sessions a month. It's totally dependent on where you are. But what I'm trying to say is that my stance is, unless you are willing to show up like a freaking rock star on Instagram every single day with completely catered content towards what you are booking, showing behind the scenes, telling people all about your sessions, walking people through, being extremely vulnerable, consistency, right? Unless you're willing to do that, you're probably going to have to pay for visibility. Unless you have an email list. And if your email list works and you are booked out for the whole year from your email list, why are you even listening to this podcast? So like, I feel like most people are not in the email bucket. There's people that are using their email list well, and they're doing better than a lot of people. But there's still people that majority of family photographers still need visibility. The triangle would be a Facebook ad, an organic social system where like you're just even showing up to make sure that your Instagram is current and you're talking about relevant things, an email list and a solid website. It's like an octagon of, if you just do 4 things, that would be the system to do. Because for me, what I started noticing is that like for my senior ad, I have another ad that's doing really well for seniors. So like today, I just got a girl who came over and followed my Instagram. And I went up to her profile because that's my data. And I'm like, the kids will often put like what high school they're at and the year they're graduating in their bio. So I'm like, oh my gosh, this is a current junior in my county. There's no way I would have reached her without that ad. 0% chance. So that's what I'm talking, like, unless I don't even know I could have done an organic post, but I just told you about many organic posts that I put a lot of effort into that Bob, Sarah, and Steve liked, who are also family photographers in New Jersey. So that doesn't actually help me. So getting this feeling back of being like, things are working. And obviously I have lots of sessions booked and I'm not in a detrimental situation here, but I know that the majority of family photographers that I work with are in that position. And even I feel like I feel very comfortable. I just made that word really clunky. if I have 10 sessions booked a month, then I haven't hit that every single month this year. And that makes me feel a little weird because I'm like, oh, that's my comfort spot. Like I like to be there. And if I'm not there, then like, what do I need to do to get there? So that's what I'm saying. I'm in the same boat as everyone else, but I'm also like an annoyingly empathetic person. And so when I do my one-on-ones or I listen to people in my membership or my DMs are probably 80% of people talking to me about their marketing problems, which I'm fine with. I want to know what you guys are struggling with. I'm like, we need to fix this. We're doing it. Majority of family photographers are doing it wrong. It's probably going to cost you a little bit of money. Marketing is effort. That's the bottom line. I just want you to know I have 5 pages of notes on this episode, and this rant I haven't even touched them. Let me just see what I wrote. Hold on. Okay. So one of the things I wrote down, like these kind of like cute little sentences that work, like the big audience feels like the chase on Instagram, right? So it's like, I see these people still in the year 2026 going on to Facebook groups and being like, I only have 1,000 followers. What do I know? That doesn't matter. That literally does not matter. You need the right people to see it because you need local people to see it. And Instagram is just not set up that way. It's just not for the most part. I've said before, TikTok is better. I have a local feed on my TikTok, and then I learned that not everybody has that. If I go onto my local feed on TikTok, it's literally every business in my county who started a TikTok account. It's crazy local. So there are other social media platforms that are more local, but I feel like for the most part, family photographers relying on Instagram, it's not local unless they're writing. It's just not, because family photographers are so inspired by other family photographers, we just throw the algorithm out the window. So this targeting can get around that, right? There's still going to be family photographers that look at your ads and like anytime when a student of mine, if I see their ad, I screenshot and I send it to them. I'm like, I saw it, it's working. So I'm obviously looking, but it's way less of a percentage. So here's the thing. You still need consistent work. You still need to send people somewhere that builds trust. You cannot send them to your homepage. It's just not, unless you are a senior photographer who only photographs seniors, or a newborn photographer and you only photograph newborns, then sure, send them to your homepage, where hopefully on that homepage, it is a pathway to booking within your website. For the majority of people, they're doing more than one thing. You can't send people to a generic place, right? So one of the things that people don't realize about Facebook ads, because they're like in every training and in everyone who's teaching them, it's like for, online mentors or courses or there's not a lot of education around local, hyper local Facebook ads, and they are so effective. They are. It's so good at everyone and their mom is on Facebook or Instagram for the most part in your area. So it's such a good way to get to those people. So I know that there was also this mind block for me in the beginning where I was like, Facebook ads, I feel like are more for like big players, people who are just trying to market across the whole country. And I didn't even realize how well local Facebook ads work really until it was actually my husband's handyman business that I started an ad for him. And he basically built out almost his first year on a $1 a day local ad for local handyman work on Facebook, that I was like, oh, this is really working well. And then I was like, who else is a service-based local business? Maybe me. Could it be me? It is me. So then I started to redefine, and then the education that I've taken on Facebook ads, beyond actually taking education from Facebook itself, which they actually offer a lot of help, is through other people who work with local Facebook ads. Okay, so here's why most photographers' ads don't work, or why they think they won't work. So they go way too broad. So this is my change of advice. I used to say, run a generic Facebook ad on your account at all times, because you needed to gather the data to be able to retarget. That advice is with the addition of Andromeda is pretty much gone. So like now you need a specific ad. It doesn't have to be seasonal. Like it doesn't have to be like spring sessions, but it needs to be like specific. family sessions. It's helpful if it's spring. Like if you were doing a campaign where you had 4 ads you were running every year and each one started 8 weeks before the season, and you were running that ad up to the season and through it, and then you switched and you started running that, they would probably overlap a little bit, but that would be like a good Facebook ad strategy. And a lot of people are expecting instant bookings. And I know that I just said that my ad got instant bookings, but it's because I have been on there for a while. If you are a Facebook ads newbie and you go on there, you're probably not going to get an instant booking, but it is a warming tool. So the people who click on the ad will keep seeing the ad. That's the beauty of it. The other issue is they don't run them long enough. This is so clear in my one-on-ones. I'll talk to people and they'll be like, I took your advice and I ran an ad. And I'm like, how long do you run it for? And like 80% of the time they tell me a week. It's just not long enough. Like I would say 6 weeks minimum. Week offer is a problem, or like a really unclear message. So like it's too generic. It's like you're trying to talk to everybody. We're not trying to talk to everybody. We're trying to talk to like this one person. The Kitsap area current junior is who my senior ad is talking to. The Kitsap area families who want a studio shoot. That's who I'm talking to in that. It's like specific. Okay, so here's like the basic parts of a local visibility ad. You have a targeting of a radius of 10 to 25 miles. You don't really choose anything else. In the past, like 2 years ago, if I was telling you this, I would say you need an audience with kids from 0 to 10 or expecting moms in their interest or parenting local. No, all of that is gone with Andromeda. You don't need to do that because your copy is what brings people in. Your copy is what tells the targeting tool who to search for. Creative is necessary. Your images in the ad are necessary. I have had the best results putting text on the image, putting local text on the image. That has been very good for me. Like having the call out to who I'm looking for right on the ad. You need to have copy that is emotional, simple, and local. Like it cannot be treasured moments for you and me. Deedle, deedle, dee. It needs to be very specific. It needs to be of your soul. It needs to be salesy a bit. Like get out of your own comfort zone on that. Your budget can be $1 to $10 a day. It's not like, so first of all, as someone who just sold weapons for $2,500 a day, I was able to see the metrics of that ad because I was running it, of course, my taser glove. So I was like, well, while even though they stole all my money, let me just look at the data, because if I'm not anything, I'm not curious. I said that wrong. So I looked at the data, and for $2,500 a day, this ad was going to be seen by 3 million people a day. So obviously, if you came into some money or an inheritance and you wanted to just book out your entire year, you could probably spend $10,000 on ads and book out $100,000 a year business. And that's what some of these like guru people will say. They'll be like, yeah, I see this in the boudoir community. I see this in the wedding community. There's this lady on a TikTok who I follow who's like, I have a $500,000 a year photography business and I run on ads. So like that, if you look at what the money puts in and the output of the visibility, it, obviously it makes sense. But I'm not saying that you guys need to do that. I'm just saying that's what we're looking at. So the ad is not just, some people will run an ad and it's like now, like book now. It doesn't have to be that. It has to have some salesy language, but usually someone will see your ad 5 to 10 times. Like in their experience before either Facebook's like, okay, I showed it to them 10 times. They're not interested. They're like off the list, or they're looking at it every time. That's why they keep seeing it. So every time they're seeing it, they're building a little bit more trust. So you want to have it be, the tricky part is it needs to be supported for people who are booking immediately. So like where they land up needs to be high trust and the availability to book, because that's how I booked my session so quickly, my studio ones. Because the people saw the ad, they liked the images, they came through the booking page, it was super high trust, had tons of images, information, and I embedded the booking link right there on the page, and bam, they took that they just followed the line and I had the booking show up in my email. So you need that to happen, but you also have to have the ad have compelling enough good creative that the person who's seeing it over and over is like, ooh, I like it. Ooh, I like it. Ooh, I like it. It's like that. You know, you don't just want to have it be a picture of a hand. Like, obviously it needs to be your best work, like your best seasonal work, put it out there. Okay. So if you have ads working for you, it can compound your visibility a little bit because your organic posts will start to perform a little better because people who are viewing your ad, I've had many people who followed me from my ad. Facebook will actually give you this data point. So it'll say, this person is following you from your ad, which is like, thank you. That is extremely exciting to know that I paid $1 for this person to follow me. Like that is, I'd pay $1 for every local mom to follow me. I mean, I think most of us would. $1? Hello. If I then have an actual visibility plan to back that up, that's better than what a lot of us have, right? In terms of who's looking. So your inquiries, when they come in, they often feel a little bit warmer because the person came in through the ad. They saw the ad usually multiple times. They came onto the booking page. So right now they have this familiarity with your brand that you might not be able to get through your non-existent or once or twice a week Instagram strategy. The bookings feel a little bit easier, and here's why. When they are in that mindset, so like what happens to the human brain when you see something that you want, and this happens to you, it happens to me, happens to think of the last thing you bought online. If you've never bought anything online, you are like a mind of steel human. So don't use yourself as the example. But you looked at the thing, you're like, ooh, I like it. And then you saw it again, and you're like, it's following me around. The universe is telling me something. I need this beep-a-bop. And then you see it again, and then you see it again, and then you click into the ad, right? And if it's legit and the website is high trust and all those things, that is a pretty warm person coming to your site. So if your website is solid, and I have a website course, this is my thing. Like your website has to be good. Has to be good. It doesn't have to be fancy. It doesn't have to be built by someone else. It doesn't have to be the most latest and greatest creative with the best graphics and all the best tech, but it does have to be good in the way that it is simple and clear and consistent and trust building, right? So if you have all that going on, the person that arrives from the ad is already really interested, right? As opposed to when someone's scrolling on Instagram mindlessly and sees your post because they follow you, it's a little bit colder. So that's another way to think about it. So I'm yapping for way too long, but basically, on April 29th, I'm going to be inside the ads course to answer any questions that you have. So the ads course is broken into two parts. The first part is building out the trust building place that people are going to land, whether that be a blog post or an info page. And the second part of the course is actually building out the ad in a really simple way. And there's past lives that you can watch that I've done in there. And then I'll be showing up on April 29th as well. So if you're interested in that course, I'll link it in the bio. If you want to get started with just getting going on Facebook ads, if you want help to do it, you can just book a one-on-one, and over 90 minutes, I can help you set up your ad on Zoom. The issue is you need to have that trust building place built first. So if you don't have that, the course is probably the best place for you. Okay, I hope this was helpful, and that maybe it inspired you to think that marketing that works and isn't super expensive is maybe not as far away as you thought. Hope you have a good day.